More than 30 million people around the world are imprisoned each year, and a large proportion of them have experienced problems with drugs. The harm caused by drug use is a significant contributor to the global burden of disease and an important public health problem. However, prisons may provide an opportunity for health interventions. Many prisoners have untreated substance use disorders, and in prison, they are easier to reach for health workers. From a public health perspective, time in prison could, therefore, represent a turning point. But today, the treatment situation within prison is a black box. We do not know if prisoners are adequately screened and diagnosed with substance use disorders when they enter prison, whether people diagnosed have access to treatment in prison, or whether or not the treatment is effective. One key to this black box is the Nordic data registers. The PriSUD project will be the first longitudinal study to investigate the epidemiology of people with substance use disorders both before, during, and after prison in Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. By combining data registers, we can follow hundreds of thousands of people who have been to prison. Let's take an example. Chris has been in prison twice. He was born in 1986. We know that he has received treatment for a substance use disorder. We know his medical conditions were reported to the healthcare service. We know his criminal history and social services data, like his employment status, income, and social benefits. We can see that Chris is diagnosed with ADHD. He receives social benefits when he commits a crime. The treatment he receives the first time he is in prison is not continued after release. A few days after he is released, he relapses to drug use and overdoses from an opioid. Luckily, he survives, but his life is turbulent, with many criminal acts. A few months later, he returns to prison. This time he receives prolonged treatment, continuing after he leaves prison. We can see that 3 years later, he is still engaged in treatment. He hasn't returned to prison, and he now has a job. When we analyze data on thousands of people who have been to prison, using advanced statistical models, we can open the black box and investigate which factors are important for treatment to work effectively. Our research project will not only help define best practice interventions in the Nordic countries, but can contribute to solving the challenges of the UN Sustainable Development Goals related to preventing and treating substance use globally. Read more on PriSUD.no. Thank you for watching.